Because it's not always a good thing for a person to have more money, okay? Having more money isn't always a good thing, ladies and gents. Because when you get success and money, it turns you into a grander version of the person you already are. So if you were a lovely, great, sharing, caring type of guy, you're going to become more of a more loving, sharing, understanding type of guy once you reach success and money. But if you're a DH, if you're a jerk, if you're a bum, if you're somewhat lazy, if you're a narcissist, if you're a sociopath, money will only allow you to become more of a bum, a sociopath, a jerk, a control freak. Money and success just exemplifies what you already are. So if you were addicted to Coke before you're successful, imagine how much Coke you're going to be able to buy once you actually have loads of money. It's only going to make your life worse. And for a long time, successful people like football players, rappers, musicians that got into these cases of like sexual assault and stuff like that, they confused me. Because I was thinking to myself, why the hell would a man at the peak of their career need to commit SA when it's easier for them to get women in the first place? That just confused me. And I really had to sit back and think about what the hell was going on there. Because for the majority of us men, we become successful for 3 reasons. 1, to have the lifestyle that we want. 2, to have the girl of our dreams. And 3, to actually maintain the girl of our dreams in a long-term relationship. Because it's easy, you can be somewhat successful and have the girl of dreams for like a night, have a little one-night stand, have some fun for a few nights, whatever. But to actually maintain her, you're going to have to do well for a long time, okay? You have to keep up the good moves. So I was thinking, if life's already easy to get women when you're that successful, why the hell do you need to commit SA, take girls to your hotel rooms, get them drunk? You ain't got to do all of that when you're successful and got money. A lot of men will never understand this, but it's so much easier to get women when you're successful. You have a good number of Instagram followers. You have a good career going for you. You got status within the alpha male hierarchy. It is infinitely easier to get women that way. You have no idea. Those type of men, they can just walk into a bar. You know, this is who I am, this is what I do for a living. Next thing you know, they got 5 girls on them. And for the men that are really successful, that are football players, big rappers, big musicians, a lot of these men, they have like groupies, like women follow them to their hotel room just to see where they're sleeping. For these men, it's so easy to acquire women. So I was thinking to myself, why the hell do these men need to go to these lengths to do SA and all these grim, dirty things to women? Even though, ironically, they get women's validation way easier than anybody else. Then it hit me. These guys are just perverted in their heads. These guys aren't after women and the love of a woman and the validation of a woman. They're in it for the subjugation of a woman. They're in it for the dominance of a woman. They're in it for the control of a woman. They're in it for the power they can exert over a woman. And that's why for these type of men, even though they ain't got to do all these nasty, grim, vile things to women, they still do it anyway, even though they're successful, even though they run the risk of getting exposed, because that is what they're primarily into. Hence why I'm saying, for a lot of men in particular, gaining success, fame, and money isn't a good thing, because the demon which is sitting inside them is only going to get far worse. That's why you hear these cases like P. Diddy and R. Kelly. You think, ugh. These guys could only have gone as far as they did because they were successful. If P. Diddy and R. Kelly wasn't as successful as they were, they couldn't have committed all these vile cases. They would have tried, but it would have been nowhere as possible. And there are so many other men out there that are as dirty-minded, that are just as perverted as P. Diddy and R. Kelly, but they can never get exposed because they haven't got the power to even get the women in the first place. So for these types of men, gaining that success is a good thing. It's actually better for them never to have money or success, because the demon that is inside of them is going to explode in a big way. Because once you have money, you can now afford to be unhinged. Once you have money, you don't have to be nice to people. You see, when you're in a poor neighborhood, the sense of community there is way better than any rich neighborhood. Because they know in the rich neighborhood, like, you know, if I ever run out of tea, if I ever run out of lecky, what they call electric in some poor areas, you know, I could ask a neighbor for a bit of help. You know, they use that social value to ask for favors in the poor communities, right? But once you have money, you ain't got to be relying on no favors from nobody no more. You can just pay your way to get anything done. You can now afford to be insular and isolate yourself from everybody. It's nuts. You don't have to be nice to anything because you don't expect no favors from nobody because you can just pay people off. What you realize is, and this happens naturally once you go from being poor to having something, there's going to be this temptation to not treat people as well as you did when you had nothing. And if you fall for that temptation, the devil will come back and pay for his dues, because it's going to lead you to a really dark place. Okay? But for those that hold on to that love that they had, even when they had nothing, they're going to go far. Because there's nothing better than a rich, successful man who still treats people with respect, love, and grace. But for those that don't, that temptation is so easy. You know, what kind of person would you be if you were a multi-billionaire and you had no need for no favors? A lot of you would become rude and cocky and lose your grace. And that's not me saying that. That's what the data shows. Most lottery winners become broke after 5 years. Most sports stars go broke after 5 years of their last pay from their contract. It's so easy to fall to the temptation of the darkness and the evil from the devil once you have money and success. Hence why I'm saying a lot of these guys there, it's better if they never achieve that success. It's just better if they stay away from that money. And that's what happens to guys like P. Diddy and R. Kelly. Money allows you to become unhinged in a way that most poor people will never understand. And that's why I'm saying, you see a lot of these poor people, they act like, oh, I'm so humble, I'm so gracious, I'm so caring, I'm so loving, I care about my friends, my community. That's because you need them. And you intrinsically understand that if you didn't do that, you would lose the little power that you have. But let's see if you still were lovely and caring and friendly to everyone around you, even if you didn't need them anymore. That is the true test. You can't be humble if you have nothing to be humble about. You can only become humble if you're rich, successful, talented, and you still keep that humble frame. If you have nothing to be humble about and you call yourself humble, no, you're just a loser. You have nothing. If you're faithful to your wife, but no other women are checking for you, you're not faithful. It's just that you have no options, bro. So maybe a lot of you would do dirty things like P. Diddy and R. Kelly if you became that successful. And there is a small but large minority of the population of specifically men that have this dirty perversion to do these types of things to women once they achieve more success. They already want to do that even though they're broke, but money allows them to become more evil.